Welcome to another exciting episode of your local MVP. I'm your host, Eric Kneller, and today we're diving into something that affects nearly every homeowner, garage organization. I'm thrilled to introduce you to Brian Lemmons from Wall-Rite Solutions, who's revolutionizing how we think about garage storage and organization. Brian brings years of construction experience and innovative solutions that are perfect for our Florida lifestyle. Stay tuned as we explore how Wall-Rite Solutions is transforming garages from cluttered spaces into efficiently organized areas that truly work for homeowners. Hey there, this is Eric Kneller with your local MVP for More For You Now, and I am thrilled to be sitting down and joined by Brian Lemmons this morning from Wall-Rite Solutions. And just before we get going there, happy Sunday to you, Brian. How are you doing today?
We're doing good, Eric. How are you? Appreciate you coming out on a Sunday morning to help me out.
Yeah, no, awesome. I'm thrilled. We got to know each other the last few weeks through some local networking, and I'm intrigued because I know that just about every garage in the country could use your help, I suspect. And you've got the picture behind you, but tell me a little bit about how you discovered what your system is for Wall-Rite and what got you into garage organization.
So in one form or another, I've been in construction, both residential and commercial, basically all my life. We've moved down to Florida, my wife and I, from up north 8 years ago. And I was looking for something that fit this market and something that could be useful for pretty much any homeowner in the area. And looking at the garages, and the people in Florida spend pretty much 12 months out of the year in their garages and utilize it. It looks much better when it's organized, and it makes it more efficient for people to find what they're looking for, get their cars in the garage, and have everything right at their fingertips.
That's awesome. And like I said, it's such a widespread need. What is somebody, let's talk about the homeowners first, because we're going to talk about a couple different categories. But when somebody comes to you, what is that typical process look like when they first, we'll talk about how they get to find you, but when they first start that process, and I think I'm going to do something with this inquiry to install, what's that process and what's that timing like?
So basically, each homeowner has different needs, right? So they have different things, whether they're sports minded, whether they're fishing minded, whether they're car minded. So there's no real set product or set setup that every individual needs the same. So I do an in-home consultation with anybody who's interested in looking at the product, touching it, feeling it. I bring samples and then kind of see what they need and what their needs are. Because not only do we have the slat wall for the walls and all the accessories, we have the hanging racks that go in the garage. We have a couple other options for bicycles. So we just need to see what they are looking for. So they get what they need. So they don't buy something and it's sitting on the floor and not being used. And then we have a warehouse and a small showroom in Sarasota. I can bring clients in to see what it looks like on the wall if they feel comfortable or want to do that. But I also warehouse most of the material here and can readily available get a project done for somebody in a very short period of time. And have it done and finished. And I know we had mentioned we'll talk about this in a little while, but if somebody's having their garage floor epoxied, and it's an ideal time because when you're having your floors done, and I also have some resources if anybody's looking to get their floors done for a couple of partners that we have available to do floor epoxying. It's an ideal time to have us come in after the floor is done because you have to take everything out of the garage to get the floors done. So it works out quite well with that same space to get everything done at once, have everything nice and neat and organized, and move on from there.
Yeah, I imagine that's one of the only times. The only better time to do it is when they first move in, right? So
That's right.
Don't even pretend that you're going to leave the packing boxes stacked up. Let's just take care of that right away. Otherwise, though, if you're going to do the floor, if you're going to do a spring cleaning, those would be ideal times. You've got an image behind you, sort of like an after. I want to share one of your videos that you have on your YouTube real quick. And we'll just kind of look at what that staging looks like and what that before looks like. I think people will relate to that. So let me share my screen here.
That sounds great.
And this little video you've got on your YouTube is called From Clutter to Clarity. And I think people will check it out and see for a reason.
Yeah, this is a time lapse. This was a project we did in Venice, Florida. The homeowner had been in for a little while, and they have some kids. They have a lot of sports equipment, and they just got tired of everything stacked up and piled up in their garage. And it actually starts. It was nice. They started in the morning before we even got there, brought everything out. It was a gorgeous day. Put everything outside the garage, and we came in and in one day had the slat wall on the walls. We put up one hanging rack for him, and also one cabinet that we have.
Well, it should carry through the sound too. So I'm going to play it. It's only 2 minutes long. Let's have a look. There, of course, is your website.
Hey, my name is Doug, and now I decided to get all the stuff that's hanging all over my garage up off the floors. I got kids' bikes, I got beach stuff, golf clubs, luggage, Christmas, Easter, all those bins. I want to be able to pull my cars in my garage again and not have to pay for a storage unit. Why would I pay for a storage unit when I can get my garage completely done and have it all updated completely? So I'm super happy with my garage. The guys, they came in, they did a fantastic job. I mean, it's just, the thing is super easy to put together. If I don't like something, I can take it down and put it up. I can play around with it. If I get new things, my kids get new things, I can take things down, move it around. It's fantastic. It's super durable. It can hold a ton of weight. It's really easy to put bikes on and off. And I love having the spot for all my beach stuff. Now our beach stuff doesn't just sit cluttered around. It doesn't just sit piled up. We can easily hang it up. Everything dries. Everything stays nice for longer. So I highly recommend them. Give them a call. I love the fact that I can store my bins up high, get all these crazy bins out. When your wife says, get the Christmas bins out, it's no longer a chore. It's really easy now to do all that stuff. You have a storage unit and you're tired of paying for storage unit fees. Make your garage your old storage unit. They do a fantastic job. It is worth the investment to do. You'll add value to your house. Easy storage, easy getting things in and off and organize it how you want. I want to go fishing now. I don't have to dig my fishing poles out of the closet. They're right there, easy to grab, all that kind of good stuff. So highly recommend them. Give them a call.
That's an awesome transformation. I have a couple questions. So when you're looking at the overheads, a couple, like he mentions the weights that could take. What's the weight limits? And I'm sure you're tying into beams. What are the weight limits on things that you can hang up there?
Those the 4 foot by 8 foot hanging racks are rated for 600 pounds, distributed evenly over the whole rack itself. So it's quite a bit of weight that you can put up and hang up. And yes, they are bolted into the beams that are above.
That's a real lifesaver because that gets everything up, not only for if you're concerned about any kind of water issues, but boy, there's a lot of weight you can stick up there.
And then they're also nice because the rods that they're hanging on, they're adjustable. So even if you have an 8 foot ceiling, 9 foot ceiling, or an 11 foot ceiling, they can hang at different heights from the ceiling. So you can put 2 rows. If you have a higher ceiling, you can put 2 rows of bins or 3 rows of bins and really stack a lot of stuff and get it up out of the way.
You could put a couple of bunk beds up there, maybe if you had too many guests.
You probably could, yeah.
As long as the air conditioner's working in the garage.
Have some extra space for visitors.
Well, it's been since we're here in the climate, and I'm going to go over to the weather a little bit here and transition us into talking about what happens. We just saw a lot of storms last year, and not only in the homes, but this is where I want to go to right now. There's commercial applications in need, and especially if somebody is rebuilding or putting things back together after storm damage, because they know that most of the materials that they've used historically probably couldn't handle that kind of moisture, right? Whereas if you look at a storefront, whether it be a gas station or a walk-in store like you and I were talking about, those are great applications for you too, right?
They are. And it's, excuse me, the product itself, it's 100% virgin vinyl. The product is manufactured and comes out of Canada, so it's a North American product. And it's also not only moisture resistant and waterproof, basically, and you can, if you have it in your garage or have it in a work area outside, you can even pressure wash it and wash it off. Same idea as vinyl fencing. It's also rated to up to 150 degrees, that it can be out in the sun, even on the outside of the building, if you have an outside workspace or by your pool for your pool toys. But being in a commercial space, it can go on any substrate. It can go on sheetrock. It can go directly on studs. It can go directly on metal studs. It can go on plywood. It can go on concrete walls, block walls, and it'll never break down. And it's easy to clean. And it's just, God forbid if we have done a couple of stores after the hurricanes this past fall, because the landlords had suggested to the store owners to put products in that were moisture resistant and something that didn't have to be completely redone if they had some issues, down the road with weather.
Yeah, that just makes sense if you're planning ahead in an environment like we're in. Well, the old expression when they got away from the aluminum siding days, where it was a vinyl is final, right? So
that's right.
You're putting that in, and it's there. That's awesome. And then that opens up another door that I wanted to go through a little bit, because into the commercial space, this also means that if somebody else is operating in that space, whatever else they do in either the commercial or residential environment, let's say another MVP works alongside the commercial or residential space, they have an opportunity to work with you to actually add this into their product line, right? So it's almost, if I look at software as a service, I would call it white label, right? But they could actually just work with you to distribute through you and offer your Wall-Rite Solutions. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes, we carry the product in the warehouse, and we have the direct line from the manufacturer. We sell wholesale. We sell to handymen, to contractors, to home builders, anybody who might want to add it to their repertoire in their product line, to offer it to their customers. And then we also have the division that we can do the installations ourselves as well, whether it's either for a builder and partner with the builder for them to offer it to their clients, and we just use it as a turnkey product for them, for their projects, or residential retail customers. We can provide installation as well.
I think that's a great opportunity. And people look at that. Look, when you're selling something to somebody, you're trying to solve problems for them. So I'm just going to go back to an example and say, hey, if I'm putting a new epoxy floor into the garage and I had to have somebody pull all that stuff out of there anyway, why in the world would I not do the right thing by them and say, instead of just worrying about, well, how many days does this have to set before I can drive on it and put stuff back on it? Why not get that stuff up off of it so you can actually use this space? It's a perfect upsell, and it's just solving the problem for them. So I think that's just a great hand in glove solution.
And that's a great point, Jeff. And just one thing to that, it doesn't have to be the full garage. You can do a small section that's like a 4x8 section. You can do half of that. You can do whatever you want. It's either as small or as large as you want to go with the slat wall. It doesn't have to be a certain amount. And we're not looking to do full garages for everybody. I've done numerous projects where it's just been one small 4x8 section because they had a couple of garden tools, or they had a fishing pole, or they had their golf clubs. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a great large project. We can do any size project at all.
Yeah, I'm thinking even like a laundry room or a mud room or something where something's in between. That's all. It doesn't all have to be just in the garage. You already mentioned the outside durability for pools, but if you've got a space that size where you'd like to organize it, seems like you've got a solution for just about everything. I love the fishing pole. That's
yeah, it all works out great. And yes, laundry rooms and pantries are great because the adjustable shelf brackets, you can put them wherever you want. Like you said, like the video said, you can take it down, move everything around, and nothing ever gets damaged on the panels. You can just utilize it as how you need it for whatever you need.
Well, and I'm sure that when somebody's looking at their home spaces, I've did work with different remodelers, right? And so there's the major rooms that you always spend time in. And people talk about the time in the kitchen. It is what it is. You've got your updates to your bathrooms. So when the question comes up, and I'm sure it does, and somebody's like, "Hey, what's this investment to do this in my space?" And I would believe that the answer in almost all cases is it depends, because everybody's different and everybody needs different things. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that most other in-home sales, that you would like to have anybody who I would say has an opinion about how this is going to be there or come to the showroom and talk about it, so that you're meeting the needs of everybody in the space, and that it's not nearly as dramatic as doing the whole kitchen, but there's time to time, and you're going to run different specials at different times. So to really get a feel for what this is going to cost me for my house, the best thing to do is make sure that everybody that's excited about it or going to have input about it is going to be there, and then have you go through the process, right?
And that's correct. And because everybody's needs are different, that it's hard to excuse me, it's hard to just throw out a sorry about that. It's hard to just throw out, what a cost is, or give somebody an idea without having an idea of what they're really looking for, size-wise, accessory-wise, space-wise. Even just to have a conversation with somebody over the phone, if they can give me an idea of a section of panels that they need to fill a certain wall and what their accessories might look like, I'd be more than happy to give them a ballpark price with installation on that, and also depending on where they're located, because we pretty much for installations cover Florida. We're concentrated, the warehouse is in Sarasota, but we definitely cover all the surrounding counties. But we can work with other customers that are in other parts of Florida as well. I have some commercial customers that I sell product to that do closets and garages in Fort Lauderdale area, in Miami area. So we can cover a lot of territory. But at least, and that's why I offer free in-home consultations, because I like to see what people are looking for. And I don't, I like to be fair and honest with people. And like I said, I don't like to sell somebody something that they're not going to utilize. So because I warehouse all the accessories, because I don't have to special order anything for anybody, I have the material readily available. It's easy for me to work with their situation and to give them just exactly what they need, and not too much or too little.
So not extra stuff sitting in the box that they don't know why they got to begin with, right?
Well, that's right. That's right.
That's the problem.
We're trying to get them to get rid of some of the stuff in the garage and make it more organized. I don't want to give them something that they're going to have to put on one of our shelves to just sit there and look at.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So as we look a little bit into the future, do some future casting, where do you want to see your business in the next, say, 12 to 18 months?
Well, I would just like to have, obviously a couple of crews out there working with residents, and especially because there's so many new homes going up, like you had said earlier, that's the ideal time for us to come in and do a small space or do your whole garage. The one behind me, the gentleman was a freshwater fisherman, and he just needed somewhere. We talked about fishing poles. I couldn't even count how many fishing poles and accessories that he had. And it just worked out for the small plastic bins and the small wire bins that we have for him to put all his small components. But I just want to make people's lives better and make them feel better when they walk in their garage, and when they come up to their house and pull up, and they can open their garage and actually pull the car in and not look at a bunch of boxes that have been sitting there from when they moved in 2 years ago and haven't been able to get rid of, just to try and help people out, because as we all know, a lot of people that come from up north and other parts of the country don't realize Florida houses don't have basements and attics. So it's a very, very difficult situation for storage here in Florida. And we're just trying to help that out.
Yeah, that is a shocker. That's why the carports have no cars in them.
That's right. That's right.
So
That's right.
So, what would you say? So, you're actually, what you've come out with in the marketplace is basically advancing technology, and as this technology goes forward, and what I'm working to help everybody do is focus on what's the 80% of the busy work kind of things that we could automate. So, how do you see the future of, say, AI and automation helping to support your customers and potentially grow your business?
So, what I'd like to do with it, and as you and I have spoken before, I'm obviously new into this whole AI situation and just getting comfortable and realizing what it can actually do to help both myself and my customers. Obviously, to have something set up on the website to where a customer could even do their own very simplified layout of what their garage could look like if they wanted to, and even down to the point of how many boxes that I have that are this size and where can I put them on the system or where can I put them on the shelf, to put things away is something that I think that I think could definitely be a useful tool for my customers to make them feel more comfortable, that they don't feel pressured, because that's the last thing I want to do. I'm just trying to help people out. I don't want them to feel like, this is a high pressure sale. It's a beautiful product. It took me a while to decide on this product. It's very useful, and I just want them to feel comfortable about the whole process.
So I like to ask this because it's one of the things as we're all working on our business. It's like, what's that thing that when you sit up at 2 o'clock in the morning and go, oh, if I could just have that fixed, that solved, that would be the one thing. What's that one thing right now that comes to mind that you would, if that problem wasn't there, everything would be smooth?
So, that's a tough one, because I can start out with the problem of just getting the customers and the clients to know about us, because there's not too many companies that have this specific type of product. There are other companies that have slat wall. It's not necessarily as a premier product that we have, but just helping clients understand the benefits of the product and the many different uses of the product. And it's a aesthetically pleasing product as well. You can take everything off of it and it just looks like a finished wall with a vinyl covering on it that you can wash, keep clean, and it never gets damaged. So just getting in front of the customers, but then also, just finding qualified people that I can partner with and other businesses that I can partner with, floor epoxy companies, handymen, remodelers. There's a wide range of interior designers, because even though interior designers work primarily in the interior space, they can also help their clients with organizing their garages, their pantries, their closets, and help them out with that situation as well. And not only just beautify their home, but help beautify the spaces that, their friends aren't going into, but they feel better walking into.
I'm sure we're going to be able to talk a lot more about that. We're going sort of in the same networks, and somebody new keeps coming to mind every time you talk about it. So from brand new into a realtor all the way through, just like you said, it's the everyman handyman type of a thing. Because I would think, just candidly, that's going to be probably one of your best sources right there, in my opinion, because they're going to walk in for something else, but 9 out of 10 times, what are they going to find out when they go towards the garage space, right?
That's right. That's right.
They were there to go to take care of, I have to be careful what I say, because I won't say they're there to do something they need to be licensed for if they're not licensed, but they were there to do a quick project.
A quick job project,
a
right.
quick trip. And then it's like, well, wait a minute, what about this? And again, I think we're going to be able to help you get with those right people, and got some good ideas from listening to you today. So I'm looking forward to promoting you with other MVPs and getting your name out there, not only locally, but just finally you do. I know you said it, you can ship to DIYers and you can ship to other home pros nationwide.
That's correct.
So I want to really know that. And I will have it up here over the end there, but just go ahead and give your website real quick.
The website is www.wall-rite, R-I-T-E, solutions.com.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, you never know these days. There's so many numbers, but
That's right.
that's right. Perfect. And I'll get it overlaid over on the final cut too. But anything else? Any great words of wisdom for somebody that's thinking about coming into the space? Like I know there's a lot of people making transitions or trying to decide what to do. So let's say somebody who's trying to decide, do I want to get into another type of remodeling, or what I want to do with making a career change? What would you tell somebody that wanted to get into the space?
As far as a business, as far as utilizing,
as far as if they're looking at different things, because you went through the process and you kind of talked about being in a construction background. I like to ask because when somebody might think that they have to be a certain orientation when it comes to either even organizing, like, oh, I'm not an organized person, so this wouldn't be for me. Or somebody might say, I don't know the first thing about hanging drywall, so I wanted to do that over there. But when somebody's evaluating what they might start doing in the home services space, what would you tell that person as they're looking at your solution?
So our product is a very simplified product to install. It amounts to basically 5 different pieces for the installation. You have the individual panels. The panels are 8 feet long, and they're either 6 inches tall or 8 inches tall. And then we have 4 trim pieces that close off all the edges, close off the top, the bottom, and that's the whole entire system. It's not difficult. The only thing you have to determine when you're putting it on a wall is use a stud finder to find your studs to screw in the panels to the studs, which if you're hanging a picture, it's a good idea to hang it on a stud as well. So it's not difficult to do that. And if it's on concrete, then you just maintain every 16-inch attachment to the wall. If they're in the local area, Sarasota area or surrounding counties, in the warehouse, I do have a training wall that I put up that I have, and I bring in contractors, I bring in handymen, be more than happy to go through the process and just show them how easy it is to install and easy to add it to what they're offering their customers. Because if they're already in a customer's house, the customer is happy with the work that they do, a license is not required to install this product because you're installing it on a finished wall, and you're installing, basically, if you're installing a shelf, this is the same idea. You're just screwing a product. You're not doing anything structural. There's nothing fancy about it. So you can add it very easily to what you're already offering your clients. And like I said, if they're happy with you, they like to work with the same people, and we're very, very happy to just supply the product to you at a commercial discount and offer that to the clients and take care of the garage space or closet space as well.
That last few minutes was golden for somebody looking at adding it or starting something up new, because that removed a ton of barriers and gave them a lot of information about how if it was easy, everybody would do it. But, starting a business or adding to a business, having a solution that is going to have low barrier to entry, both to start completely or add it to your portfolio, is perfect. So that was great. Well, I thank you, Brian, for spending time with me today. And do you have any other final words or words of wisdom for us on this Sunday?
No, I just appreciate your time as well. This is great, and look forward to doing some more work in the future with you. I'm always open to trying to get in front of our customers. So
Awesome.
We appreciate your time.
Yeah, looking forward to working with you.
Very good. Thank you.